Hi, Chef Kawachi, estate chef at St. Supéry Winery, to showcase our sustainable seafood as well as our beautiful estate wines. To go with our Sauvignon Blanc, our estate Sauvignon Blanc today, I'm going to be showing you how to do oysters with an interesting twist on a classic Mignonette. These are sustainable oysters locally from Marin, and these happen to be Miyagi oysters, which have a really nice kind of brininess as well as a cucumber characteristic to it. But they also happen to have a very deep shell in there, which means that there's more of a cup, which contains a lot more of that beautiful briny flavor that you pick up, as well as when you put a nice Mignonette sauce on top of it, it will hold that as well. To go through and make the Mignonette first, I'm going to start off. It's very simple. There's classic black pepper. There are shallots. You could use any different types of herbs. I happen to have chives here from our garden. And to make it kind of interesting, I'm doing a mirroring technique where I'm using some grapefruit zest as well as some fresh grapefruit characteristics that you pick up in our Sauvignon Blanc, as well as some cucumber. So I'm going to mix this all in together. It's just a simple matter of mixing all the ingredients in with some vinegar. And so in this case, I'm using some champagne vinegar, white wine vinegar. I'm going to add in cucumbers. This will be a nice crunch garnish, as well as the flavor profile. We have shallots that are minced very fine, as well as chives. You could use parsley, any of your fresh herbs that you wanted to put in there. And then the fun and interesting part is using some of the actual zest from grapefruit, as well as some of the segments that I chopped up. And this one happens to be ruby grapefruit. So if you mix all this in together, you've got a nice tart type of a dressing. The term Mignonette actually refers to the fact that there are cracked black peppercorns in here. This is very coarse ground. You can also take them and smash the whole peppercorns and add them to that so they're cracked. And basically what you have is a mixture. It's almost like a relish. Has a lot of crisp acid to it to cut through the rich creaminess of the oysters, but it also has the fun ingredients of having cucumber and grapefruit. And I'll show you how I'm going to open up these oysters. Number one, I'm looking for oysters that are tightly closed to make sure that they're not too old. They haven't opened up. They're not gasping for air. These are beautiful ones. You can see this scallop shape on the shell with all the different color. That's indicative of a Pacific oyster like these Miyagis are. So what I'm going to do is protect myself by using a towel. You can wear a glove if you'd like to. You can also use a safety glove that they have so that you don't accidentally poke yourself. And this is an oyster shucker. You want to use this as opposed to a sharp paring knife or something where you might accidentally poke yourself. So what I'm going to do is hold this, and if you look at the oyster, it has a rounded top edge, but it also has a pointed hinge. And this is where I'm going to insert the actual shucker right into that. So as I hold it, you can either hold it on the counter and do it like so, and you want to push in gently as you're twisting, just until you hear it pop or feel the tip of the blade go inside. And then from there, what you want to do is scrape across the top of the blade to remove the top shell part off of the oyster. And that way you do as little damage to the flesh of the oyster itself. So by gently scraping across the top, you can flip that top section right off. Then you have your oyster. Now, a couple of things you want to do to make sure you're not eating any parts of the shell is look around the edges on the lip there. And then the one part you want to do is take the shucker and scrape down where the adductor muscle was, where it's connected to the bottom. And that way you know that it's released, so that when you go to slurp it, you've got it released and easier to eat from there. We'll do one more to show. Again, I'm looking for the hinge section right here. I'm going to hold it in the hand, get the tip right into that hinge right through there, and just gently kind of push as I'm twisting. Some of them are easier to get to, depending on the variety and how old the oyster is. The shell sometimes grows over. But once you feel that the tip of the blade has gone inside, then you want to stop and you want to just basically scrape the top, and that'll remove the bottom. You remove it from the bottom shell. Like so. Again, you want to clean the lips to make sure that there's no shell fragments in there. And the last part is there is one connector that holds the Bottom of the oyster secure. You want to just scrape your blade underneath that. Make sure that it's all clean. Also want to make sure that you're holding it. So the nice part about these with the deep cut like that is that they're holding all that natural liquor that's in there, that wonderful flavor. So you have this creaminess, this incredible umami. And the Mignonette's actually going to cut through that really nicely and help to balance it out as we go to take a sip of our Sauvignon Blanc. So I've already shucked some over here just to show. I've got this sitting on a bed of sea salt. So that keeps the shells from tipping, so all that wonderful juice is still left in there. And then from here, I'm going to serve a little bit of our Mignonette in the center for the guests to pour over themselves. But I can also dress it. A spoonful of this along with that vinegar right over the top. And you have crunch texture, you have color, you have citrus tones, and all of this is calling for a beautiful glass of refreshing Estate Sauvignon Blanc from Saint Supéry.